I'm really fascinated with common idioms. You know, those phrases or expressions that we often use that we understand what we're saying when we're using them, but we have no idea as to where the phrases or expressions originated, what they meant at the time they originated, how far back it goes, how long have we been using it. This particular idiom that I'm thinking of can be traced back 400 years ago, 4 centuries, to the time of William Shakespeare. This was a phrase that he used in many of his plays, and it was very common at that time. Everybody knew and used this particular phrase. And then later on in the 1800s, Charles Dickens used this particular phrase as well too, and it was in the Christmas Carol, his story of the Christmas Carol, and he was referring to Bob Marley. So what's that expression or phrase? Dead as a doornail. Now, I don't know if you're like me, but when I heard that expression the first time, I'm thinking, what's a doornail? I have no idea as to what that is. Well, here's what it is. During the medieval times, they had these large, heavy wooden doors that had huge planks, and you had to use these large iron nails to hammer through them to hold these heavy planks together. And when the pointy end of the nail came through the other side, you'd take the hammer and you would bend over the point so that the nail wouldn't loosen and come out after that. So that basically meant that nail was going to be unusable after that. It was retired. It was dead. And that's where this expression came from. Dead as a doornail. Now, again, if you use that expression, I remember it quite often when I was growing up, and I know my parents used it. I'd be interested if this is something that you've used or you've heard your parents use, and if you've ever thought about that. I find it fascinating because, in a sense, we can all say that if we've used that phrase, that we're linked back to the time of William Shakespeare. We've gone back in time 400 years ago, 4 centuries. And it's interesting how the past history connects with the present day, and we use terms that are no longer relevant in the literal sense, but that we still use and think of it as being, it's just something we use.